like so. If you're following me on Facebook and Instagram, which you should, links are in the description, I went and saw Spider-Man: Far From Home, and this is pretty much my response. So it was a really fun movie. Possibly could be one of my favorite superhero movies, and jury's still out on that one. We'll give it time. We'll give it rewatches later on when it comes out on home release, and I can just analyze like the nerd I am. But I would say this is a very solid movie. I like how it's placed within the Marvel Cinematic Universe because it really does sort of deal with the fallout of pretty much everything. This is the post Endgame movie, and it would be very easy to sort of like do a time like this is 5 years later in the MCU. A whole new team has been selected. We don't have to see what happened, and yeah, we could have done that. But instead, because we established a really strong bond between Tony and Peter, this movie is like the perfect um, post Endgame movie for that. So the premise here is pretty straightforward. It doesn't reinvent the wheel in itself because it really is about, well, where do we go from here? And from Peter's standpoint, it's like, well, I just go live my life and miss my surrogate dad, Tony Stark. But everyone else is like, well, are you going to take Tony Stark's place? Like, no. Why me? There are other better people than me for this. And technically, he's right. There are more qualified people on paper, just as there were technically more qualified people than Steve Rogers to be Captain America. But there's something that Peter can present that makes him the best choice, at least in Tony's appearance, at least in Tony's position, in the same way that Peggy thought that Steve was the best choice. So, yeah. And at the same time, Peter's trying to have a social life. He's trying to, get MJ. He's trying to get the girl. And he's in a sort of an awkward position here because there's this dude named Blake. And Blake is kind of supposed to be a nice guy. And I guess he's supposed to be because, from his point of view, Peter does do some stuff that's just a bit weird. It's a bit shady. And he also likes MJ. What's really cool about this movie is how they actually say, hey, it has been a couple months since Endgame, and we're still reeling from it. We're still reeling from everything. So when people were blipped, which is what they call when Thanos, I should be able to snap louder than that. But when he did the snap, and half the population of the universe just like disappeared and went all glitter and dust bunnies. Um, 5 years passed, and those people just showed back up when Endgame after Endgame. So what do we do now? And we're seeing the sort of fallout from that. One student mentioned that I had a little brother before the snap, then I got blipped, and now I come back. It's 5 years later, and I'm the younger brother now. Some students had to retake some of their exams, some of their finals, even though they already met the standard when they took them. I'm guessing because it's been 5 years, maybe education standards have changed, or we just don't have your file anymore. I don't know, but you can guess it's frustrating. And even more so, we see support groups for people who have lost their homes because they've been gone for 5 years. So the houses have been bought, and there's really nothing they can do. Like, well, I don't know what to tell you. So now a lot of them are homeless, and even more so, we think the entire families have been gone. So that's when one dude told the story. One of Peter's teachers tells her, like, my wife, she made everyone think she blipped, so she could just run off with another man at the funeral and everything. Terrible, terrible. I was like, oh, dude, terrible. It's okay though. That teacher was annoying, but because of the environment that's set up, we sort of get the idea that the Marvel Cinematic Universe needs something to believe in. It needs someone to light the beacon, so to speak, for the superhero community. And Nick Fury and a lot of people think that should be Peter. Peter should be the one. Because, first of all, they need someone they can rely on. Captain Marvel's flying off into space and whatnot. Doctor Strange does the magic, and Thor's doing Thor 4 and Guardians of the Galaxy, presumably. So everybody's busy. And T'Challa's secretly going to be Wakanda first, hopefully. And yeah, so that's you. What about Ant Man? Well, we'll get to Ant Man. We'll get to Ant Man. So yeah, that's for the most part what the entire movie consists of. Peter trying to have a normal life, and the superhero life sort of interfering in that. And Peter has to juggle those two very well, and he doesn't quite juggle it properly because at some point it feels like Peter is generally being a bit teenage selfish, and it's within character. It makes sense that he would, to some point, want to really get his personal life in order. Some days he really would like to just not have to deal with that. Sort of why he's going on this trip. He needs the vacation. You know, he blipped. He was blipped for a while, and he comes back and everything's different. And Happy's apparently dating his aunt, so it's weird. And then we come to the mystery box, or just Mysterio, or just Mysterio. Let's call him Mysterio. I was not prepared to think Mysterio was that good of a character. He's actually pretty boring in the beginning. Cool powers in the beginning. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then when you see Mysterio's true nature, like what Mysterio actually is, it's actually really cool, and how he plays off of Peter because of that is really cool. And I just it really changed the mood from being like, oh, all right, that's cool, and then like, oh my god, we've totally changed this movie and for the better, because it wasn't bad, but it was sort of flat. Like at one point, you always feel like the movie's like legitimately over, and then it isn't, and it's really cool how it's not over. It ain't over till it's over, and oh, it was great. It was great. Um, the interactions with Peter and MJ, I think, might have been the weakest point, and I think it's just sort of because MJ doesn't feel like there's a lot beneath the surface to her, and that's sort of hit and miss. Sort of hit and miss. I think it's more of an acquired taste, and maybe upon further viewings we'll be able to like really look at MJ's character. But to be fair, she's not supposed to really take center stage here. She's ultimately a better version of Patty Mayonnaise from Doug. You know, less perfect, but she's definitely sort of has a one note personality. So if you haven't seen Spider-Man: Far From Home, I highly recommend you do. There's a really great sense of legacy, I think, being played here. A lot of torch passing, a lot of idea with what the world needs and what the world needs to believe in, and the question of whether or not Peter can or should be that is posed here, and I love that. So with that, I will bring this video to close here. If you're new to the Bucket Think Tank, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, smash that thumbs up button, and I will catch you all later. Leave your thoughts down in the description about how you felt about this movie, and I will catch you all later. This is the Bucket Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching, and as always, may your fandom serve you well.